Today I'm heading to the WRC for mediation. Mediation is something that's offered by the WRC when a dispute is submitted. It's not always offered, but sometimes it is. The WRC identify which cases might be most suitable and might be most amenable to mediation. Mediation then is an attempt, with the benefit or assistance of a mediator at the WRC, for the parties to come together and try to reach an agreement between themselves to settle the dispute, to settle the complaint. So in this particular case, I represent the employee. She has a claim for unfair dismissal and another claim, and essentially both parties, the employee and the employer, have agreed to engage in this mediation. I've been involved in quite a few mediations to date, and quite frankly, none of them have been successful. Having said that, it's a question for the client to decide if they want to engage or not. If they do, I'll support them. Ultimately, it's a matter for them, and hopefully something good will come out of it, but I wouldn't be holding my breath, and I wouldn't be expecting a positive outcome today. How the mediation is conducted then, some employees are reluctant to meet their former employers or maybe their current employers, but generally it's a former employer because they've been unfairly dismissed or they've left the job or something. And some employees are of a nervous disposition, some aren't, but some are, and wish to avoid confrontation and wish to avoid meeting the former employer. That's no real difficulty, because the way the mediation is conducted, firstly, the WRC provide the mediator. So the mediator essentially puts each party into a room and ferries between or goes between the two rooms and essentially asks the employee what it is they're looking for, and goes to the employer and says he or she is looking for X, Y, or Z, and perhaps you should consider, making an offer or whatever. The mediator isn't there to decide on the merits of the case, isn't there to decide about evidence, is there to try to assist the parties to come to their own mediated agreement. So essentially the agreement will be between the parties. If it's successful, then there's going to be a signed compromise or settlement agreement, and that will be that. So as I say, I'm going along, I'm not holding my breath. I'm going to do it because the client wants to do it, but I wouldn't be all that hopeful, and I'll let you know later on then how it goes. So I'm back now from the mediation at the WRC, and unfortunately it wasn't successful. I anticipated that, but again, as I said earlier on, you do need to go through the mediation if your client wants to do that, and that's what happened. The gap between the parties was too wide, and therefore we didn't arrive at a settlement or didn't arrive at an agreement. Generally though, you need to be aware that if you do make a complaint to the Workplace Relations Commission, and if you submit one or two complaints to do obviously with breaches of your employment rights, etc., the mediation or the WRC will look at the situation and will decide whether it's a case that might be suitable for mediation or not. Sometimes they require the parties to attend a particular venue, and sometimes they'll even try to carry out the mediation over the phone. In other words, they may ring me up and say, look, what does your client want? And I say she wants or he wants X, Y, or Z, and the mediator or the mediation service of the WRC will go to the other side and see is there any movement or any prospect of success in terms of settling the thing. That's basically it. It's something you need to be aware of, but unfortunately today it was unsuccessful. Hope you find this video useful. If you do, give it a thumbs up down below, and you may be interested in subscribing to my YouTube channel. On my YouTube channel I deal with a lot of aspects of Irish law, and including employment law, property, probate, personal injuries, commercial, small business, and so forth.